Patriots, mount up. Hello, salty dogs. Welcome to Salty Sailor Live. I'm your honored host, as always, the Salty Sailor, talking to you live from my bunker in sunny AZ. It is now July 28th, 2021 of a new patriotic republic, 6:30 p.m. on the dot. Wanted to tell you thank you for yesterday. Sorry, it was a short episode. I had some technical snafus, so we're going to try to work through it today. So I'm going to get right into it as usual, as I normally do. This is going to be called Episode 4, Sticking It to the Man, which in a lot of news articles today, it has already happened. So very interesting. Now, remember the article I promised you in last show? I did find it finally. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. I think it's very warranted for today. And I think it shows just how kind of where we're at as not only from a society basis, but also just kind of going forward. Hopefully things can get rectified in the future. But as of right now, this is kind of, I don't want to call it a dreary outlook, but I just wanted to make sure that to read this to you guys, and you guys can take your opinion from that. So let's see, here we go. This is actually from a small Michigan newspaper. Who has the guts to kind of say what the rest of us have been thinking. It looks like it's Tawa City, and the author is Ken Huber. So I just want to read it to you, and you guys take your opinion from what it is, and then we can go from there. Basically, the title is "What Has America Become?" Has America become the land of special interest and the home of double standard? Let's see. If we lie to Congress, it's a felony. And if the Congress lies to us, it's just politics. If we dislike a black person, we're racist. And if black dislikes whites, it's their First Amendment right. The government spends millions to I cannot talk tonight. I apologize. The government spends millions to rehabilitate criminals, and they do almost nothing for the victims. In public schools, you can teach that homosexuality is okay, but you better not use the word God in the process. You can kill an unborn child, but it's wrong to execute a mass murder. We don't burn books in America. We now rewrite them. We got rid of the communist and socialist threat by renaming them progressives. We are unable to close our border with Mexico, but have no problem protecting the 38th parallel in Korea. If you protest against President Obama's policies, you're a terrorist. But if you burned an American flag or George Bush in an effigy, it was your First Amendment right. You can have pornography on TV or the internet, but you better not put a nativity scene in public park during Christmas. We have eliminated all criminals in America. They are now called sick people. We can use human fetus for medical research, but it's wrong to use an animal. We take money from those who work hard for it and give it to those who do not work or want to work. We all support the Constitution, but only when it supports our political ideology. We still have freedom of speech, but only for being politically correct. Parenting has been replaced with Ritalin and video games. Very true. The land of opportunity is now the land of handouts. The similarity between Hurricane Katrina and the Gulf oil spill is that neither president did anything to help. And how do we handle a major crisis today? The government appoints a committee to determine who's at fault, then threatens them, passes a law, raises our taxes, tells us the problem is solved so they can get back to their re-election campaign. What has happened to the land of the free and the home of the brave? Ken Huber, you are my hero. Very good article. You are the man. It kind of begs the question, really, guys, what's kind of happening today? I mean, that's a prime example of what's going on. Talked about it in one of my live podcasts a couple of whiles back there. Essentially, just society in general. What is it becoming? Have we strayed too far away from what was supposed to be back when our founders wrote the Constitution? I don't know. It's interesting if you think about it too. Hollywood, which you can say kind of bears the brunt of a lot of this as well, right? And even video game people, right? What about the what's that Grand Theft Auto video games that teaches kids it's okay to just go over there and shoot people and rob people and that's okay. I mean, honestly, guys, that's where our society is taking it. So these kids have played these games thinking everything, there's no consequences to their actions, essentially. And what we're finding out, we're starting to bear that fruit right now, right? So that's unfortunately the way of the world. Hollywood, like I was getting back to, if you think about it, think about the movies The Purge. Honestly, isn't that kind of what's kind of being shaped right before their eyes? Could that have been like a test run, right? In terms of um, showing us what it would look like, and maybe the Democrats or the left, let's say, we're kind of taking ideas from this. I mean, this could potentially have been shown to us, and we thought it was good. We thought it was a cool movie, right? Crazy to think about, but if you look at kind of what's happening now and what's happening today, this is kind of going on, guys. I mean, if you think about it. So I don't know. It's just something to consider. Um, I wanted to talk to you. It was basically in the news today. A collection of red states, led by West Virginia, sent a letter to the Biden administration on Wednesday saying they were watching its actions and willing to sue each and every time he tries to exercise the power that he doesn't have to hurt the economy and the American people. He literally, in his first week, has had articles of impeachment brought forth, been sued twice, has had unions that endorse him bail on him, all while attacking women's rights and putting America last. Our federal judges, and honestly, we really have to rely on our federal judges that Trump put in place, the 370 odd judges that he has, and honestly, are just us, a conglomerate of us fighting against this to help. I mean, again, I can't imagine after a certain period of time, like with all the lawsuits and everything else, this reflects good on the guy. Um, so I would say, to some extent, even though he's a perv and old and shouldn't be in that office anyway, you have to kind of, for a smidgen, for a second, feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he's probably like just basically being a lapdog for everybody, and it's starting to show, right? The most destructive president by far so far, with 37 executive orders, a majority or half of them wiping out Trump's EOS. I mean, come on. Like, are you really doing something productive, or are you just, doing what everyone tells you to do? It kind of leads to the latter, guys, honestly. Um, this is just another article I picked up basically saying that I like the term. I heard this on another podcast, and I think it's fantastic. The resident. I think that's fantastic. Resident Biden is being sued yet again. He's been in office a week, guys. 1 week, and has been sued twice. I don't know if there's ever been someone else. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me or think about it, but has anything like that ever happened in the future in terms of being sued twice? I mean, how bad do you have to be to get sued twice in a week? That's like, I mean, I don't even know how to, I mean, wow, right? Like, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has put articles of impeachment on him from the first day. Where's the trial? Where's the outlandish remarks? Where's everyone marching to the hill to try to impeach him? Oh, that's right. Whoops, whoops, whoops. They're working on another impeachment, an impeachment jam for someone that's not even in office. I think they're a little distracted, right? And I'm being extremely sarcastic there. He overstepped his power, essentially, the reason for the being sued again, the lawsuit. He overstepped his power again with the basically the deportation freeze, uh, and lost Texas suit. So he basically lost from Texas, and now is being sued by another company called Western Energy Alliance Group that was actually filed in federal court today. Basically in Wyoming, saying he doesn't have the power to ban leasing on public lands. He's not a dictator. He's not a king. He's not a tyrant. Like, sorry, dude. Like, this part, I don't feel sorry for him at all, honestly. Here, because who are you? You're just a guy behind the guy behind the guy. If you remember that old reference from a movie, like, you got in on coattails twice and have failed presidential runs twice. Like, at some point, this guy's just a loser. Like, why do and really, you got to think about the people that vote for him, right? Do they actually educate themselves, or are they just plain out let the news media tell them what to do, which is obviously proving the latter, right? So he just keeps losing while he tries hard to destroy all of Trump's policies. I honestly think it shouldn't last that long, but we shall see. Now, I was I don't know about you guys, and I'm not claiming to be some stock guru by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, like most of us, I probably have a 401k. On my advice from the stockbroker guy, he said, why don't you invest while the market is up, so that way it carries you over for the times that the market is down, right? Really smart strategy. So obviously, I went aggressive on mine, and it's paid dividends for me. However, Pelosi buys, okay, $1 million worth of stock in Tesla. Okay, on the surface, you would say, nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their right to make a buck, right? Even though, she's just going to buy a ice cream freezer, but, power to her. Okay. First of all, you're a public servant. How do you get $1 million anyway? Well, that's for another story for another day. Um, but interestingly enough, she did this right before Biden's announcement converting the U.S. fleet vehicles all to electric. I'll let you marinate on that for a second. Let me reread that one. Pelosi buys $1 million worth of $1 million worth of Tesla stock right before Biden announces converting all the U.S. vehicles to electric. That, ladies and gentlemen, we be called insider trading. He should be going to, or she should be going to jail. He should be going to jail for leaking that information. But no, not the demos. Somehow, some way, they avoid jail over and over again, and that's because we let them. I honestly think that as we start fighting more and more and more, I think you're going to start seeing these guys held accountable. And hopefully, if Senator Ted Cruz gets that passed with the term limits, I think you're not going to see people challenge or try this stuff again. They basically won this election on fraud. We've all seen this and shown this. However, again, this could be their one-hit wonder, right? I mean, they're gonna maximize all their effort for this. However, it just woke a lot of us up. I think you're gonna start seeing more fighters. There's a lot of more podcasts coming out, conservatively speaking and conservative wise. So, I mean, you just started a movement that's gonna crush you. So enjoy it right now. I mean, Biden himself too. I mean, what the clock started when he got in office in terms of how fast they want to push Kamala in there. So we'll see on that. So as I digress, interesting. Okay, so this is cool. So this is kind of a win on our side of the fence, so to speak, in court, basically. Um, Virginia judge rules Virginia judge rules state's late election law, which we all know that they changed in the last second to benefit the demos. He deems them that the fact that they changed it late for mail-in ballots, that he's deemed them illegal. So now the interesting would be, would first off, if it goes to the Supreme Court for whatever reason, which you're assuming it would be challenged, what does that set the precedent? I can't talk. I'm sorry, guys. Precedent for going forward, right? So if you think about it, this could be kind of drastic change here. Maybe you'll start seeing some other stuff happen. I know in Arizona they won they want it to be able to with the Dominion machines be able to audit it or federally audit it. However, here's the catch here: they were getting audited by Dominion picked auditors that work with Dominion. So how's that fair? How is that even giving us what we asked for in the first place? As an Arizonian, like, I'm sorry, heck no. You better step it up, and we as conservatives better step that up and fight against that nonsense. Something else interesting happened today, which I thought was hilarious. It reminds you of that old movie Robin Hood, or like the small guy versus the big guy. You can say David and Goliath, just kind of um, people pushing back essentially and people fighting. So basically, a group on Reddit that have formed on Reddit to kind of, um, look at stocks and help basically like the everyday Joe like us, right? Found out that GameStop was kind of going to go under. Actually, it was I think it was the guy. He's the CEO. I know his name is Ryan, like myself, but he's the CEO of Chewy. Decided that he was going to invest in GameStop, kind of keep solvent and see if they can turn it around and kind of put it in conglomeration with other stuff, right? So he does that. So then of course these big hedge fund guys get wind of this and like, oh, he's trying to compete against Amazon. This could be a good way to kind of overtake things, right? Wrong. So this group on Reddit, this is the best part, also see this happening and know that the head munchers are going to kind of basically front the bet, basically drive down interest in the stock so they can buy it really cheap, drive back the interest back up, and then go ahead and drive the interest up higher so that way they can sell it at a higher profit. It's called a short sale. They've been doing this for eons now, and then but these guys somehow figured out the game, right? Which is awesome. So they were basically on this. I think the site was called. I want to say it's called Robinhood, which is also symbolic in a sense, right? Rob from the rich and give to the poor. So the site that was a platform for these, investors, like you go on these e-trade sites or, whatever site it is that you want to invest your money on. So Robinhood was kind of a platform for that. So these guys get all together. They say, okay, we got you. We see what you're doing. So we're going to go ahead and buy a bunch of stocks and we're going to raise the price, right? So in doing that, the hedge fund managers lost not millions, but billions of dollars, right? And most of these guys that invested ended up um, uh, becoming millionaires overnight. They actually played the system. They won the system illegally without any insider trading, without any heads up, anything. Like these guys were freaking smart. So essentially, um, they did rob from the rich and they gave it to themselves, right? Which is really hilarious. I bet you, how much you bet there's going to be some sort of Hollywood movie made out of this, in the future. I think that would be fantastic to watch. And for honestly, guys, for I mean, I would watch it. Honestly, I'm proud of these guys. This is fantastic. So then, okay, so of course, money dictates the world nowadays, right? We're not really even in a capitalistic free market society when the game's rigged against you. These guys have had the inside play for years, right? So once the head managers found out about this, small group of investors, or well, obviously they found out because they lost billions of dollars. They basically leaned on Robinhood, the app, right, to kind of say, don't allow any more trading of the GameStop stocks at all to any investors, small time investors. And so, of course, Robinhood, the app, bowed down to the pressure, and they went ahead and did that. So now it's basically shutting the small time investors out, which is also very shady, typical of Wall Street essentially, right? And rewarding the rich again, right? So it's kind of the society in general today now. Hopefully it changes. Who knows, really, right? It's the world we live in today. Um, another small tidbit. I mean, I think you kind of see some of the articles on there about kind of Trump's next plan or what he intends to do. I honestly think he's coming back, guys. Whether it's 2 years from now, whether it's in what is it, 2024, 2025, I think you're going to start seeing a possible comeback. Now, what that looks like, I mean, I talked about it on one of my live podcasts, but what does that look like? Who knows, right? Does Trump actually run? Does he have um, what Senator Ted Cruz run? Like, how does that all shake out? But I know they're going to challenge the demos, and the demos are getting scared from this. So it will be very interesting. I honestly don't even think, and I don't know, maybe you guys can leave me messages on what you would like to talk to me about this. But you guys can email me at Salty Sailor at saltysailornation.com. I'll get those emails, and then whatever questions you pose, I can either answer them on the show or go ahead and put that out there into the ether on the show to kind of see if other viewers will go ahead and answer those as well too, or could just get some opinions essentially. But I mean, who knows, right? But I honestly think he's going to do it, and I think he's going to do it. The nice thing is he now knows the lay of the land, right? So, what becomes of that, I don't know. There's a lot of promises before about, oh, hey, we're going to change this, we're going to do that. So I think there's going to be some people skeptical about it. But honestly, what is the better option, right? And then here's the funny part. Let's say, for instance, Trump runs again. Well, you already know he's going to breeze through the primaries. So even a challenger, I mean, first of all, a challenger would be stupid to challenge against him. It'd be a waste of time, right? Because of 74 to 75 million people saying, Trump, Trump, you're in. Well, if you think about it, let's say on a weird situation, which we all know may potentially happen, Kamala becomes president. Well, first of all, I don't even want to go there, but let's, for argument's sake, okay? Let's say she becomes president. Well, or let's just say Biden somehow hangs on for dear life towards the end of his fourth year. If you think about it, right? Um, Trump would run against Kamala. Kamala Harris wasn't even popular in her own state. Do you think that she would even hold a candle to what Trump can bring to the table? The funny thing about it is that they'd have to run her because she's a VP. Who else would they pick? Obviously, the Bernie Sanders train has worn itself thin. I mean, it should have been worn thin last time, but somehow it just kept going. So you're going to have those. I mean, you may have the young vote for Kamala, but unfortunately, I think there's going to be so much backlash with what the demos are trying to pass right now and what's going on right now. I think there's going to be a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And to be honest, I kind of see Trump winning in a landslide, right? And wouldn't that be funny? A turnaround chain of events. Instead of taking him out like he could have with the Insurrection Act and the other stuff he could have done, he does it legally, does it the right way. What's their argument? They have nothing to argue. So I find this fascinating. Like I said, I was never huge into politics and kind of this show. I just think it's funny what's changed because of it. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's show. Kind of making them short until we can really get a good news data day out there. But again, my final thoughts on this would be: obviously, I always say everybody just stay vigilant, stay safe, stay strong. Again, guys, conservatives fight, whether it's from podcasting like myself or others, people going through to legislative stuff or running for office. It's coming soon. So again, this show is dedicated to all the first responders and essential employees. You all deserve a shout out. You guys you've done fantastic. To all my brothers and sisters in the armed forces, both here and abroad, past and present, stay frosty. Thank you, Salty Dogs, for listening. Feel free to leave messages and I'll play them in future podcasts. Keep the faith, Salty Dogs, and hold the line. Salty Sailor, peace out. Bella, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm sitting here trying to do this crap.